I want to show you how to bind and miter a corner. I'm going to use some of this great minky fabric and already manufactured satin blanket binding, which is shown here from Wright's. This is great because the edges are already finished, so it allows you to learn binding and mitering very quickly without having to worry about finished edges. You take the edge of your blanket or your quilt, place it inside the fold, and wrap the satin around. Make sure that when you're using this, there's going to be one side of the satin that's longer than the other one, a little bit taller, maybe by 1/16 of an inch. Make sure that that is on the underside of your blanket so that when you're choosing your decorative stitch, you'll know that you'll be catching it on the underside as you're sewing. Going to pin like so, and as you reach the corner, open up your binding and push it so that the fold right here is going to be going in the same direction as you are. And you're going to wrap the edge of your quilt or your minky, just like so. Now as you miter the corner though, what you're going to do is fold the satin binding back on itself. So you can see I have a nice little angle here. I'm going to pinch and fold right back on itself, just like so. And you know you've got it perfect when this makes a 90-degree corner here. And I'm just going to stick a pin that goes partially through, flip it over, and make sure that I've done so on the other side. It looks like my pin caught it just a tad. Flip it over, push in and back. And I don't need to pin this side, I just need to hold it and re-pin the front side. Just like so. Put the edge of the blanket or the quilt inside the satin binding again. Pin in place, and then I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. And I like using a zigzag stitch. Obviously you would want to use the same type, or the color of thread. I'm going to use the color of thread that you can see really well for this demonstration though. Usually presser feet for your sewing machine have center marks. Make sure your center mark is on the outside, centered between your binding and your blanket or your quilt. And again, don't sew over your pins. Make sure you take them out and put them in your magnetic pin bowl. And as you get to that mitered corner, make sure you keep your finger in place. Keep it away from where you're going to be sewing, but keep it in place so that that doesn't come unfolded. When you get to the corner, put your needle down. It's going to pick your presser foot up in some cases, so make sure you keep your finger still on that folded mitered corner. And this is a technique called pivoting. It's simply where the needle is down. You want to continue sewing in a new direction, so you change your fabric and pivot it on that needle. And that is how you bind and miter your corners.